I'm trying this. Sometimes I use I have this microphone stand. Sometimes I use a microphone, and sometimes I just use this little Bluetooth one, and I can still be hands free. It's actually really easy. And I'm really just saying that to say that I'm just a normal dude. You know what I mean? Like probably hundreds of millions of people out there. I'm just a regular guy. Even when you hear messages and news and stuff like that throughout the media, it's usually another rich guy. It's another guy with money. I mean, even the guys Jones claims they don't have money. They still usually at least have a few $100,000 in the bank, which is not something any of us can relate to whatsoever. And there's no harm in that. There's no shame in that. I'm not saying that you should be ashamed if you have done well for yourself or something like that. But most people don't have it that nice, right? With that being said, most of my videos, they only get 3 to 500 views. Some of them have done way better, but a lot of them just they stay in that range. And, I'm fine with that. Honestly, I'm cool with that. Really, I wish when I'm listening to people that I had somebody that I could. I mean, even though I appreciate the news and stuff like that, the certain podcasters and people like that, I appreciate what they bring, but I still wish I had somebody that I could relate to more. And so I guess that's just what I'm trying to be, because I'm just a regular dude like so many other regular people. And I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that because you should care. I care about what's going on in the world right now because mostly because it's starting to directly impact my life. And even when it wasn't directly impacting my life, I was concerned for years and years and years, and always keeping tabs on stuff. No matter what it was, I was always just keeping up on stuff because A, it's interesting, and because B, the writing on the wall was clear that it was always at some point or another going to show up at my door too. Okay, and now it's showing up on everybody's doors, and let's be honest, it has been for a long time. That's something that really drives me crazy about the Western culture. Really, even though I'm proud of it and I love it, what drives me crazy about a Western, more modern outlook of the world is that you get so used to just not moving. You don't move to change anything. You believe hardcore in your vote. You believe hardcore that leaders are going to get it sorted out somehow, as long as we can keep eating our chicken sandwiches, going through our drive-throughs, and going to our jobs, and keeping food on the table and the bills paid. Regular life for regular people. As long as that keeps going on, with, let's say, some conveniences here. You're able to go on vacation every year, or your 401ks my 401k is looking good, or you have stocks that have turned out really well. Okay, there's a couple different ways to look at this, but by and large, most people, they don't seem to care about what's going on in terms of, geopolitically, economically, socially, even. It's in the backs of the minds of most people. And especially these days, why wouldn't it be? Because today, just mere survival takes so much of your attention for a vast majority of people, especially in Western cultures. But even in experiencing that, we still don't move too hard or too much or too fast to really make an impact or change things. Take a look at what's going on in the UK, for example. Man, I can't really show a lot on here, and I can't really say a lot directly because the internet seems to hate it if you have an opinion or common sense these days, to be honest. But in the UK, they're having quite the load of trouble with their newfound brothers and sisters. They're putting up mosques everywhere. They're doing daily prayer calls every day on the town speakers. I mean, it's crazy. There's extreme violence happening. There's attacks happening. There's casualties happening. And the problem with these things is we don't generally hear about them here in the States until at least a year after it's done, or people have been convicted and stuff like that. But it's happening a lot, and not enough people are talking about it, and not enough people are willing to do things about it. There's a couple of guardrails here in the States that we have that would kind of separate us in terms of our outcome if we were to go through something like that. And we are going through something like that, by the way. It is here. It might not be as extreme, might not be as obvious right now. A part of that could be because our population is a lot more dense. We have a lot more real estate, but it's still here and it's still happening all the same. Look at Minnesota, ever in this year. In many, many cases, especially in the UK, you have crimes being committed, the police showing up, and then they end up dragging away the victim of the crime, unfortunately, because they're trying to do some kind of two-tier police system, which obviously doesn't work, especially to any indigenous people of that region. And the indigenous people have had enough. If there's people in Ireland right now for something along the lines of this same problem, there's an online presence of a group of armed Irishmen because they're sick and tired of the infestation that they're dealing with right now, and they're dealing with it from a certain group of people. And if you do the research enough, I can't really go into it much on here. In other platforms, I will, but just do the research what's going on in the UK right now. There are laws with certain things right now, and what certain people can and can't do, what certain people are getting away with, and the MO of these people. It's a very real problem, but nobody's really standing up to this, and if they do, it's in like the most mildest of ways, and that's a problem that we have here in the West too. Is we like to not really exert ourselves too much, and we don't like to get in the way too awful much. We don't like to see people, um, in compromising positions. Even though we watch like loads of violence in our movies every single day, most of us don't have the guts to do things if we actually had to. Not that you should become violent. I'm not telling you to become violent, obviously. I'm not telling you that's the way to go. I think obviously a huge radical political change is what's very necessary. But I'm not entirely sure that it's completely likely. And I guess the question is, how much are you going to take as a citizen of the West, of any Western culture at all? How much more are you going to experience before you start getting loud? Which is a video that I made the other day. How much are you going to take till you start getting loud about things that are going on with you? Because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are really willing to do that. A lot of people are sitting, they're still wanting to take it. It's kind of like the frog in the boiling water parable, right? Like you can take the frog and put it in warm water, it won't notice it. Gradually, if you heat it up slowly, it won't notice the fact that it's in boiling water until it's too late. Well, it's almost like we are the frog and we do realize that the water is coming to a boil, but we're, for some naive reason, hoping that it kind of just cools down on its own. That's never going to happen. Okay. That's never going to happen. It's not going to happen on its own, because for years, decades, it has went a certain direction and it's benefited a certain group of people, a specific group of people, but it's never been rolled back, at least not without a fight and not in any major ways. You've never gotten rights back. Okay? Federal income tax was never taken away, even though it was supposed to be. It never was. And it likely never will be. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality about where we are. Be that as it may, my whole thing is just wanting to do something, say something, get the word out somehow. Even if it's just me and all my people that know me in real life think I look ridiculous. To be honest, I really don't care, because anything with any effort in it is more than what most people seem to be doing around me personally in my own life. So I'm completely okay with that. Not everybody, but some people. The people that would think you're ridiculous for trying to put yourself out there and try to make some kind of difference, no matter how small. Like I said, most of my videos get like 300 to 500 views, most of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being a regular dude. What I'm not okay with is standing by and doing nothing while things drastically change for not only us, but our children, possibly irreversibly. And nobody wants to do anything about it. Nobody wants to say anything or put themselves out there and use what privilege they have, like, the ability to use their voice and say, what the hell is going on? So a lot of these are going to be that. I would love for it if you listened. I would love for it if you tuned in, became a follower, shared my things. Never going to charge anybody for any of that if I ever got to that point. Would never do that. That would defeat the entire purpose of putting myself out there like this in the first place. So do what you will or don't. Completely up to you. Completely fine. And like, I get it. Okay. But this is what a lot of this is going to be about. And it's going to have a lot of this kind of image. And I hope that you can find some kind of merit or something savory in what I do have to share in terms of information and news and stuff like that. And feel free to chime in and let me know what you think too. I would love to hear from you guys, and I would love for it to not just be me. Okay, so thank you. Love you. That was probably not the right way to lead. I'm not really looking to be too politically correct on this. It's kind of like the antithesis of that. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it, hate it, love it. I would greatly appreciate really anything. Thank you.